Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 16th edition of Things You've Learned. I am your host, Lorenzo. Thank you for tuning in and hearing about the things that I've learned. And hopefully, you learned something from me. Thank you, as always, for liking, sharing, subscribing, downloading to the podcast. We have picked up a few more subscribers on YouTube. The views on our YouTube shorts have been nothing short of amazing. So that's going well. And overall, I think the podcast is heading in the right direction. I think it always has. Sometimes it flatlines a little bit. I don't think it ever goes down. I think it just flatlines. But we're trending up at this moment. 4:45 p.m. and the 12th of May, 2025. This is where we're at. Trending up is what I can tell you. So, and that's all thanks to you. So thanks to all of you again for doing whatever you can to help the podcast grow. If you want to be on the podcast, just email thenerdballpodcast@gmail.com. That's on any podcast that I have here. Things I learned, Random Mondays, and of course the big show, the actual Nerdball podcast, comes out every Thursday. If you want to be a part of those, any of those, hit me up there. Or if you just want to chime in and say something nice about the podcast, I guess you could say something mean too. That's up to you. Either way, interaction is good, I guess, right? The algorithm is getting to you, so. So yeah, that's all that I have there. Again, it's wonderful to do this, and I'm glad you're listening to this right now. So let's get to it. Of things I learned, edition, 16th edition, number 1, freshman football coach. So I guess this isn't something I learned. Well, I mean, I guess I learned it at some point, a few months back, maybe, a few months ago, that I am named the new head freshman football coach at Perrysburg High School. A title I've had before. I don't know if anybody, you know what? When I had this title, I wasn't a podcaster. So now I am. So you've only known me as a varsity football coach. But before my varsity football coaching experience, I was the freshman head football coach at Perrysburg. I did it for 3 years. It was wonderful. I loved it. As you've probably heard in other podcasts, I do like being in charge. So it's great, and I get to call the offense, which is fun as well. I have many more coaches than the first time I was the freshman football coach, when it was just me and another guy named Kelly Hunt. And then after that, it was another guy named Steve Winsler, who are both great guys. Tough to run a freshman football team with 2 coaches. We try to get volunteers. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Actually, I think my first year I had a couple volunteer coaches, and it was greatly appreciated. So again, this year I have a great staff. Volunteer coaches abound, and then some full-time coaches as well. So I'm looking forward to the season started and getting going here. So it's May now. We really start picking stuff up in June as far as like working with the kids and that kind of stuff. Weightlifting is year-round, so they're doing that kind of stuff too. But it's a new role. Again, a role that I've had previously. It's a little different now, but pretty much the same. And I'm excited to get going. So that was number 1. Number 2. Where am I? Hold on. Bear with me. My notes are gone. All right. Number 2, The Paper, a TV show. I don't know if you've heard of this. I literally just saw it online. It's called, The Paper. It's going to premiere on Peacock in September. It's basically, it's a Greg Daniels, Michael Coleman produced comedy series. It's a mockumentary. And if you know those guys from The Office, it's basically that. Same universe as The Office, and features the documentary crew that immortalized Dunder Mifflin Scranton's branch. And the cool thing, which I just learned, is the crew is searching for a new subject when they discover a historic Toledo newspaper, The Truth Teller, and the eager publisher trying to revive it. So if you're listening to this and you don't know, where I record is 10 minutes away from Toledo. So it's kind of cool that this is where their paper is centered. Now, it's always cool to like see, because I think this was another show before, a few shows on Fox. I forget the name of them, but there was a few shows where like a guy was wearing a Toledo Mud Hen shirt, or there was another one where I think he was a teacher based in Toledo. That was the guy from everybody. No, what was that show? Always Sunny. One of the guys on there was a teacher. I forget the name of that show, but if you know it, please let me know so I can fix it the next episode of Things I Learned. But seeing like Toledo things or area things on national TV, it's a cool. I like it. It's a cool thing to see. And I mean, I'll be interested. I'll tune in because I love The Office, and I know people are like, "Oh, this is gonna be terrible. It's a reboot." Blah blah blah. I mean, it's not a reboot. I can't tell you if it's gonna be terrible or not, but I'm gonna check it out, and maybe I will let you know what I think about it. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll create a new podcast called The Paper, where I talk about each episode. Probably not, but who knows? I'm always making things and doing things. So maybe it'll be a random Monday where I just talk about the entire season when it's over. Anyway, number 2 was The Paper. A new mockumentary coming out this September. Number 3, Vapor Layer. So we're getting new floors in part of our home, and we were discussing the current floors that we have that need to be ripped up. I put down during COVID, and I'm not a floor layer. I didn't know what I was doing. It served its purpose for 5 years. I'm surprised we don't have plastic splinters in our feet because they're coming apart at the seams. I probably could have done a lot better job, but I only knew what I knew. And at the time, they looked beautiful. And what gave me false hope was doing it in our basement first. I put the floors in our basement with flat concrete, quote unquote flat. That's what our salesman for our floor said. Nothing's going to be truly flat, but as flat as it can be. Went down beautifully. Everything looks lovely. Cuts were made. It was awesome. So like, I can do this upstairs. And boy, was I wrong. I mean, like I said, when it was done, it looked great. I think I did a great job. I'm sure my wife would say the same thing, but now it is, again, it's falling apart, and that's why we're getting new floors. But going back to the things I learned, vapor layer. He goes, "Hey, did you put a vapor layer down on under your floor in your basement?" I said, "No, I don't even know what that is." And apparently it's some sort of plastic or something that you're supposed to put down on your floor and concrete because gases come out of the concrete. And I believe he used the word explode. I don't know. Maybe I made that up in my brain. But I feel like he used your floor could bubble up and explode. He said it doesn't happen very often, but gases could come out of it. Now our home is older, so maybe those gases are gone and they've been out of here already. So my floor is not in danger of exploding. But that is what I learned. I should have put a vapor layer down, and before I put this floor down. So if you hear about someone's home in Perrysburg, their basement floor exploding, that was our house. So I don't know. Maybe I should have changed this to the name. The number 3 is exploding floor. Maybe that's what would be changed in the show notes and when I talk about it. But for now, it is what it is. Should have put a vapor layer down. I probably could have Googled it, and I would have saved everyone from a potentially exploding floor. So, which is even more dangerous because this is where my children play currently, is in our apparently very volatile basement floor. So we'll see what happens. Although there is a bunch of just shit everywhere on the floor, just toys and stuff. So maybe it'll dampen the blow because there's just, this basement is so, the floor is so dirty. It doesn't have time. It doesn't have room to explode. It'll maybe it's going to create a sinkhole and not explode. Anyway, I use the word explode a lot. I'm definitely putting that in the show notes as exploding floor. So number 4, Pope name change. The big thing that happened. The Pope, a new Pope is getting elected. So I think my wife asked why they changed their name, and I didn't know offhand, so I had to Google it. And it's happened since 1555. Every Pope changed their name upon being elected new Pope. I think the only thing people know of electing a new Pope is the black and white smoke. So black smoke means, hey, we had an election, a Pope is not elected yet. And white smoke means, hey, we came to a consensus, and we have a new Pope. So the tradition of popes changing their names dates back to the first Pope, St. Peter, originally Simon, whom Jesus renamed in the Bible. However, it wasn't until 533 that Mercurius became Pope John II. So it happened way back then, and I never found why they did it. Maybe that's just a tradition, right? That's the only thing I could really find, is that it's tradition, so people keep doing it. And there was another thing I found interesting is this thing asked if there are any rules or guidelines for choosing a name. There isn't really any rules formal rules. It's just, again, it's tradition is key. They're immediately asked, upon election, they're immediately asked to declare their chosen name. And so I'm assuming that's what Cardinals dream about. It's like in their little journals, if they're in junior high, they're just writing their Pope name over and over and over again. That's what I envision them doing. But so that's what they're doing. They should have, apparently if this is a possibility, they should have it chosen already. And then they're asked, and here it is, and go talk to the people. Really, the only thing that, as far as names, common names, John is the most, used 21 times. Gregory is 16 times, and Benedict 15, and Clement is 14. And the only really name that's off limit is Peter. And again, there's no rule, but it's kind of an unwritten rule. So everyone loves unwritten rules. But so yeah. So our new Pope Leo. I don't know, I guess I probably should have found how many times Leo has been chosen. There was what did I say? There's been like 43 first names only used once. I can't find it. I think it was like 40 something that's only used once, that have only been used once. So I don't know where Pope Leo ranks in there. Email the nerdballpodcast@gmail.com to tell me what an idiot I am, and you can find that information for me. So, number 4, Pope name change. Last, certainly not least, is play with friends. So my son is 13, and I think, and I've discussed this with my wife too, because whenever like he'll come up to us and like, hey, can you take me over Jackson's so I can go play with him and Andrew? And we're like, yeah. And then we think like, I think it's funny and cool that he still uses that phrase, because at some point they're like, hey, can I go over and hang out at my friend's house or so-and-so's house or whatever? And I just think it's funny that he uses that phrase, and I don't know why. At some point he's not going to use it, and I'm going to be like, oh, he didn't say I'm going to go play with my friends. So I think it's because he also looks like a man too. Like he's just a big kid, but he's still a kid, and they do still play with their friends and hang out and do whatever. So I just like that he says that. I think it's cool. And again, at some point he's not going to say it, and then I'll be sad, and I'll come on here and say the thing I learned is that my son stopped saying, can I go play with my friends? So number 5, play with my friends, or play with friends. That was the last thing I learned this week on the 16th edition of Things I Learned. Again, if you learned some stuff and you don't want to be on the podcast, but you want to teach me, shoot me an email, social media, text, phone call, any of that stuff. I can put it on if you don't actually want to be on the podcast. And I don't even have to say your name. I can say I learned this from a frequent listener, or if you're a first-time listener, you're like, that's kind of interesting, but here's also what I learned about it, or here's an added thing that you can talk about. So any interaction is definitely warranted, or is warranted the word? Definitely wanted. So please reach out to me, thenerdballpodcast@gmail.com. Search the Nerdball Podcast on all social media. And of course, the YouTube channel. Again, I gained some subscribers. I'm getting closer to 200. I'm excited about that. I can throw a Nerdball party and celebrate 200 once we get there. So thanks as always. I love you, and always keep learning.
Dear Jane, chances are you won't find the time.